Well, it's weird. You feel what I'm saying? That's like someone being cast to play Superman, right? Motherfucker ain't nothing like Superman. Don't look, don't talk, don't walk, don't believe like Superman believes. And he's completely different. But the difference that he is, motherfucker's kind of like Zod. He's like menacing and evil, but kind of cool and edgy. And I end up liking that. Now, how do you feel? Oh, yeah, it's trash because you didn't play the character you're supposed to be playing right. So you take an L. But the character you created out of trying to be something else, I actually like.
Gracias por ver La Esquina de Jody. Thank you for watching Jody.
YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. I have a movie review for you guys, and it's for Solo, a Star Wars Story. Now, I have to let you guys know right now that I had zero expectations coming into this film. My expectations were actually low. Coming into this film, I expected to see a pretty bad movie. And coming out of the film, I got what I expected, but I got a little bit more. I gotta say, I got a little bit more than I expected with Han Solo. Now, I tell you guys right now, I didn't want this film. Me being an ex-Star Wars fan, because The Last Jedi was trash and filth. And if you ask me, other Star Wars movies were filth. I thought that this film didn't mean anything. It's not something that I wanted as a ex-Star Wars fan. A Han Solo movie, like, freaking, come on, what the frick is going on? But anyway, we got it. So this is a movie about Han Solo. It shows life on how he grew up, and you know, he lives in this wasteland that's overrun by corruptness and thievery, and it's ruled over by a female warlord. And he basically learns his journey on becoming the gunslinging, shooting first, parsec running pilot that you guys know from the original trilogy. There's some characters that come on. Emilia Clarke is in this film. I'm gonna go break it down by down with each character, how I feel about the characters. Emilia Clarke did okay job. I liked her character, and then sometimes I didn't. But overall, I think I liked her character. Her character wasn't that great, but it's enough for me to like her. She didn't overstay her welcome, and she didn't do them dumb things that I expect. A lot of female characters in these films tend to play the damsel, and she wasn't that. So I already know Kathleen Kennedy is out to make women look like iconic gangsters in this movie. I already knew they're going to basically put cocks on these women because, you know, she's completely got the SJW shaft all up in her. So she's basically trying to make sure that all these female characters look a certain way. And I will say that they succeeded with Emilia Clarke's character, because she's a woman who was... She believed, stood for what she believed in. She had her own motives and objectives and her own beliefs, and she still loved and cared for Han. She still cared and was compassionate. She wasn't just a freaking robot. So that's good on her part. Speaking of robots, what's the name? L4? I think there's a droid, Lando Calrissian's droid. I think the name of the droid is L4. She's a female robot who is living or computing representation of SJW propaganda. This robot, who cares nothing about getting stuff done the right way. The robot is a living representation of our society today. And you guys might feel some type of way about the robot. Me personally, I thought the robot was funny, but at the same time, what that robot stood for and the things that the robot was doing in this film were just left a bad taste in my mouth. Chewbacca was great. He was Chewie. He was doing Chewie things. Lando. That was not Lando Calrissian. He had no swag. He wasn't cool. He was trying to imitate Lando Calrissian's voice. He did a decent job at imitating his voice, but that's the only thing that was Lando that came from his mouth. He didn't speak like Lando. He had the tone of Lando. That's it. He had no swag, no charisma. He had no charm. He looked puny and weak. He just didn't embody who Lando Calrissian is. Dude is supposed to have amazing swag and get all the women. But we know that they turned him into a pansexual in this film. In this film, he shows and displays his pansexuality. I'll just leave it at that because I'll save it for the spoiler review. So, pansexuality and all that, demasculating the black male, it's what Disney does. It's what they do. Kathleen, you know, she put a hit out on Lando. Let's go ahead and dumb him down. Oh no, he's a popular black guy that people love. Nah, demasculate him, make him weird. So I understand why they did that. I don't have a problem with pansexuality. I have a problem when you change characters who are clearly straight and you twist them into what we got, pansexual. Don't change straight characters gay. Don't change gay characters straight. I'm going to stay believing in that, and that's just the way it should be. Make gay characters and create them in the film. What's so wrong with that? When you take something that is already established, that people already love, and you change it for the sake of the society we live in or for the sake of SJW propaganda, it's wrong. And that's my problem with Lando Calrissian. Not the fact that he's a pansexual, it's the fact that it's Lando that you did it to. Should have made a pansexual character in this movie. I would have been all for it. But nah, you didn't want to do that. Demasculate the black guy. It's effed up. Donald Glover, you took an L on that, bro. You shouldn't have took the role. But anyway, moving on. Question of the hour. Han Solo. Definitely he's not Han Solo that we know from the original trilogy. He was trying to walk like Han Solo. He had that walk. I said, is this fool trying to walk like Han Solo right now? I said, all right. He was really trying. It's weird with him because I don't hate him. He's a trash Han. You're not Han Solo. I completely dismiss that because there's nothing that comes from you that radiates Han. But what's weird to me and why I'm not tripping so hard is because even though you're not Han, I still kind of like who you are in this film. I liked his character. I actually liked Han Solo in this film, but not for being Han Solo. He was so off on Han Solo. He was something totally different, but that totally different was a character I actually liked. I think his acting was okay in this film. I don't think it was trash. I was expecting this boy. I was expecting this dude to just screw up all of his. Just look. There's still some little things in there where I would have been like, I was like, But overall, man, he did a decent job if you ask me. And I liked who his character was. His character just wasn't Han. That's where I'm at with that shit. So it's weird. You feel what I'm saying? That's like someone being cast to play Superman, right? Motherfucker ain't nothing like Superman. Don't look, don't talk, don't walk, don't believe like Superman believes. And he's completely different. But the difference that he is, motherfucker's kind of like Zod. He's like menacing and evil, but kind of cool and edgy. And I end up liking that. Now, how do you feel? Oh yeah, it's trash because you didn't play the character you're supposed to be playing right, so you take an L. But the character you created out of trying to be something else, I actually like. So that's my deal with Han Solo. So he's a bad Han Solo, but he's a good something else. They couldn't. It's weird, but I'm cool with that. Overall, the story is mediocre. Shout out to my man, what's his name? Jeremy Johns for taking my mediocre shit. Cite your sources. The story was whatever. The characters in general were whatever. Really, the only characters I really cared for were I didn't care for none of them, to be honest. The only ones that actually stood out as decent were Emilia Clarke and Han. Woody Harrelson's character was okay, but he didn't matter to me. It's his beliefs that make him irrelevant in my eyes, and he just does it so much. And there's also the biggest issue with this film is that it's almost, it feels like it's made for kids. It doesn't feel serious. You know, you see a Han Solo film, you think it's going to be some serious shit going on. Like, nah. It has jokes in there, and it's not smart. This is a dumb film. Real talk. Anybody could watch it. Anybody could understand it. It is so basic. It is a basic film. It's like when you go get a smartphone plan. They got the $65 version, unlimited data, unlimited this, texting. And then you get that basic plan where you get like 300 minutes, you get no data. That's what they went for. A basic story, and the story wasn't that interesting. But there were some parts in this film where I was actually engaged, some heist elements, and I was like, okay, you got me. So it was really a roller coaster. This film wasn't a consistent incline, and it wasn't a total decline. It was just a roller coaster, and you know, that type of stuff. I don't really like that with film, man. I expected it. The reason why I don't feel like I'm ranting on this movie is because I expected garbage, and I got a bad film. But I got a film that also has some good elements to it because my expectations were so low. And man, that's going into films with low expectations is really a good thing. I'll tell you that right now. Like, the story was weak. I liked certain characters. The score was okay, I guess. The overall problem besides the story, because the story is the biggest issue here. It's the big, huge elephant in the room, which is bad in my opinion. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. This doesn't feel like Star Wars. I did not feel like I was watching an epic Star Wars story. And that's why we go to see these films, right? That's why Star Wars fans go to see these films, right? I'm sitting next to people, an old man who loved Lando, and he walked out there was like 10 minutes to go. He walked out. He said, I'm done with this shit. He was pissed. And there was a fanboy to the left of me just creaming over everything. So it's kind of like, you got fanboy. The fanboys in this franchise are freaking insane. Hurt your soul. And then you have the realistic type of fans who just getting their heart ripped out of their chest. This film, honestly, did not need to be made. It never should have been made. And honestly, sometimes you get what you ask for. You guys said you wanted this. When they announced it, everybody, yeah, Han Solo. Well, guess what? I want to know about the Kessel Run. 12 parsecs. I want to know who shot first. I want to know how Han Solo got his name. I want to know why Han Solo gets his blaster. I want to know how Han Solo became Han Solo. Well, sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you should just leave things alone and leave it to mystery. Because a movie like Han Solo might come and answer your questions. And then that same Han Solo character you loved from 40 years ago takes a nosedive. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honest belief that this film took the mythos and the epicness of Han Solo from 40 years ago from Harrison Ford, and it did this to it. Went down. Because some of those epic tales you thought were epic in his life were revealed in this film, and they were whack. I'll leave everything else for the spoiler review when it comes to that shit. Be careful what you ask for. Sometimes you just need to let shit go. Jimmy cracked corn and I don't care. You should have just left that shit alone because now you got answers. And Han Solo don't seem so awesome. That's what this film took Han Solo. Walking into this film, I had a positive thinking on, oh, Han Solo's dope. Coming out of this film, Han Solo just a lucky motherfucker who does this and does that. He ain't shit. That's the 100. So this film, I guess you could say this film tarnished Han Solo and it tarnished Lando. So it's, as a Star Wars film and as a Han Solo film, this film fails. But as just a general summer sci-fi, it's weird. This is not a Han Solo film to me. It's not a Lando film. I don't recognize this shit as a Han Solo and a Lando film. I don't recognize it. I do see it as a decent sci-fi action one-off story. This film succeeds better at that than a Star Wars solo Han Solo and Lando Chewbacca movie. So you got this going on. People are coming to see a Star Wars more than they care about the sci-fi. They want to see Star Wars. So if you're judging it as a Han Solo movie, that's what it is, as a Star Wars movie, that's what it is, this movie fails. It just absolutely, it's underwhelming. The movie's underwhelming. And I can understand people who are hype and had high expectations. Oh, if you came in with high expectations, you're really going to get disappointed. But since my expectations were low, I'm starting to see more things. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing things that I actually like. Everything that I didn't like in this film, I expected. So it's nothing surprising me. You feel what I'm saying? But it's decent enough for a casual who doesn't really care about Star Wars to probably watch this and be like, oh, it was okay. It was good. But there's two types of Star Wars fans. There are who I identify as real fans. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. There's fans, and then there's Star Wars fans, and there's Star Wars fanboys. A Star Wars fan is who I was. A fan enjoys the stuff, loves the product, enjoys it, reps it to the fullest. But when that product does not live up to its own standards, that fan calls them out on their bullshit. Like, no, this ain't right. You have them, and then you have the Star Wars fanboys. A fanboy is a terrible thing to be. A fanboy loves everything it gets, even when it's shooting cum shots and throwing bullets at your face. When Star Wars gave you a cum shot bullet massacre of The Last Jedi, fanboys, oh, it was great, it was awesome, everybody's tripping, no, it's amazing. They take the most filthiest, trashiest film and they make it seem epic. They take garbage and they don't lash out at the company when they're given garbage. They look for reasons to make excuses for it, for why it's great. You can never do a fanboy disservice as a Star Wars franchise. They'll take scum off the ground and say it's golden godsend flakes from heaven. That is a fanboy. Oh, and I am a fanboy not. Those are the two type of motherfuckers you have. If you're a fanboy, great film. I can see how every fanboy loves this. They're going to love it because it's Star Wars. They already loved it before they saw it. And you got the fans out there. Some of you Star Wars fans, not the fanboys, they suck. They're whack. But some of the Star Wars fans, I could see 30% of the Star Wars fans enjoying this film, and I can see 70% of the Star Wars fans not liking this film. That's where I'm at with it, and my grade is going to reflect it as such. I give Solo, a Star Wars story, a D+. That's where I'm at, D+. I was really thinking like, C-, but then I was like, I don't think I could do C-. It's a little bit below mediocre because Deadpool to me was a C-, and Deadpool is a better film than this film. So makes sense. D+. That's where I'm at. Hope you guys like this review. I'm going to keep it honest and real, even though some of y'all might think, personally, I just think Kathleen Kennedy is cancerous to the franchise. And everything that she's done to Star Wars ever since she got here has been trash. And she needs to go. And I'll never stop saying it until she's out of here. Kathleen Kennedy needs to go. These movies will only get worse. This is just more and more and more of what's coming in the future. You guys need to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. I don't give a freak no more. But just for the sake of not having to watch these to review them for you guys, I hope I could watch some better type of Star Wars films. You feel what I'm saying? Hashtag Kathleen Kennedy gotta go. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing, man. Deuces.